Perfect. So thank you everyone for joining us in this new session of the JournalismAI Connect community. We try in these spaces to learn more about the work that other newsrooms and news organizations are doing around the world, and specifically, of course, in everything that comes to identifying challenges and solving this with AI and building these solutions. And in this case, we are meeting and we are learning about the work of Ambiental Media. Ambiental Media is an organization based in Brazil. They are part of our Journalism AI Innovation Challenge supported by the Google News Initiative, and they are building Jor-MCP. So we are going to learn more about this development in particular, but also how they developed this solution. They have these 9 months to work on it, and they've been also going through all the different processes that we have developed to support these organizations through the Innovation Challenge. So basically, today it's also your time to learn more about how building a tool like this looks like, and specifically also to ask your questions and understand. I mean, the Journalism AI Innovation Challenge in particular is built around collaboration, and we also want news organizations to learn more about each other and how they can support each other. So this is a great opportunity for you to ask questions, to understand. You have the builders here, and this is a great opportunity just to learn more and also solve your doubts as well. So without further ado, Tiago, Jonas, thank you for being here, and I just leave the room for you.
Thank you very much, Anna. It's a pleasure to be here. We are very grateful for this opportunity and for the opportunity to work on the development of a new tool, of a new infrastructure. I think this is the most important context for today. And I also see today as an opportunity to exchange information, idea, and data about journalism, about technology, about AI. We don't have, of course, we don't have all the answers. We are a small organization from Brazil, but we are working towards a possible solution or a piece to add to the puzzle to deal with the problems that we face today. So before I move on, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Tiago Medalha. I'm a science and environmental journalist from Brazil. I'm the founder and executive director of Ambiental Media. I've been working as a journalist for the past 2 decades. I worked for National Geographic Brazil. I was a fellow at MIT at the KSJ, the Night Science Journalism program, and I was also a student in history of science at Harvard. So we've been developing ideas, not only stories and investigations at Ambiental Media. We do that a lot. I'm going to show you just a little glimpse to you. But we have also been trying to deal with the challenges, the infrastructural challenges that journalism faces today. Have that said, I'm just going to give the room to Jonas so he can introduce himself, and then I come back and show you what we've been working with.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jonas Rossi. I'm a solutions architect and also infrastructure engineer. So I'm the IT guy at Ambiental Media. Ambiental Media is an organization that I've been partner for about, 6 to 5 years. We have been doing a lot of very good projects with the help of Tiago for coming up with ideas and that could impact journalism using IT. And I mean, that's it. I can share my LinkedIn later for for more information, but I'll leave the word with Tiago too, so we can talk about what's important here.
Well, before I show you Jor-MCP, I just want to give you a glimpse of what we do at Ambiental Media. can you see my screen? Can anybody tell me, like, can you? I need to hear voice.
Yes,
saying yes.
it's visible.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is Ambiental Media. We do investigative journalism based on science and data. We bring together an interdisciplinary team. We work with developers. Jonas is so much more than the IT guy. He's a very strategic thinking person. And we bring together researchers from the environmental field, science journalists, reporters, investigative reporters, designers, spatial data analysts, and we work for a long time in investigative projects. We do smaller things per se. We do regular content as well. We have a newsletter. We go to the field. We not only work with data analysis, but basically what differentiates us is those long-term investigations where we spend a lot of time working with data, then we go to the field and we continue to investigate the topic. The Cerrado project just won the Sigma Awards. I invite you to visit the project. We have an English version as well. And we have beautiful data visualizations, but the important thing here to understand is that we have been working with technology and data for a while now. Ambiental Media is a small organization, but exists for 10 years. Now it was founded in 2016. And not only we do data analysis, but also we produce knowledge. So we are a source of information. This is the heart of Brazilian waters, the heart of South American waters, and the Brazilian savanna. So we produce knowledge and we share that knowledge to the media ecosystems. We are a source of information for mainstream media, for hyperlocal media in Brazil. Almost 200 media outlets last year replicated or covered our content. So this gives you an idea of what we have been working on. And also, how did we, where did Jor-MCP came from? How did we end up working with Jor-MCP? It's not out of nowhere, right? So we've been working with technology and data for a while. You can visit later. You can, I'm gonna be happy to share more details with you. I'm gonna share my email later. We have also developed, we have a AI usage policy in our website. I invite you to visit as well. We created a data store. This was our first project developed with the support of GNI, Google News Initiative. Basically is a way to maintain our data analysis, our data sets alive for longer than after the story has been published, right? And we also created a climate chatbot in Portuguese that answers questions regarding climate change with a very specific source of information. Scientific studies, the IPCC report, our stories. So all these projects, they were beta projects, like they brought a lot of knowledge, a lot of background for us that allow us to reach a more mature product, which is Jor-MCP. I shared the link with you in the chat. I invite you to visit, but I'm gonna show you now what we have been working with. So coming back to my first point, I think this is an opportunity to exchange information, ideas, and thoughts regarding the relationship between AI and journalism, which is very controversial, and we are aware of that. I'm going to show you later that we are one of the few organizations in Brazil working in the investigation of the impacts of the AI, the expansion of AI infrastructure. We are part of an international media ecosystem working, investigating this infrastructure. So we do believe that reporters and media outlets should continue to investigate the impacts of AI. But we also believe, the premise here is, we strongly believe that journalism needs to be having conversations in the infrastructure level. That's the view behind Jor-MCP. So first of all, MCP is a protocol created by Anthropic that very quickly spread around the AI infrastructure ecosystem. And in a way, it's a protocol that has been established voluntarily. People are using because it works. So organizations, private organizations, federal agencies, universities, a lot of different sectors are using MCP servers. And regarding journalism, I think it offers a possibility of solution because, as you all know, AI is already reading journalism, and we should try and engage in the conversation about how. So we have little control over our content. Journalism content was used to train AI, as you well know as well, but we don't have much to say. We don't have much saying. We cannot. Content has been used without permission. We don't have visibility. We don't have attribution. So Jor-MCP is an open infrastructure designed to change that. This is a little pretentious. I don't think Jor-MCP is going to change that alone, but I think it's part of the effort, a collective effort that that makes possible to have a conversation in the infrastructure level and allow us to find possible solutions, right? So what changes with Jor-MCP or with an MCP server? Newsrooms can decide which content is available and under what conditions. AI applications connect directly to each newsroom's own MCP server. We're going to have a demo later. And authorization and transparency provide the technical foundation for future licensing. Future licensing and compensation models are the step that we haven't taken yet. We are going to start the next level, the next stage of our project is starting market research, possibilities of commercial use for a journalistic MCP server or Jor-MCP. So how the infrastructure works, the newsroom structures its own content in Jor-MCP. This is important. We are not providing a service. We are not, managing the MCP server, the Jor-MCP for news organization. We are creating our own MCP server. We are implementing that MCP in our infrastructure, at Ambiental Media infrastructure, and we are sharing all of the, the journey, the code. We have tutorials we will be tutorials to explain how to implement your own server, but the implementation itself is something that is upon each organization, right? So it's an open source infrastructure. It's an open source product that we have developed with the support of LSC and JournalismAI. Users create an account. Like I said, we are going to have a demo, and AI applications and agents connect through MCP. So instead of having a generic answer regarding climate change, you're going to have an attributed structure reply with links, with information from the source of the data. And users receive structured attributed access to journalistic content, like I just explained it. So more accurate and transparency, greater control for publishers, and a practical path for journalists to become part of AI infrastructure. I think this is the most important thing right now. Who is it for? I mean, this is the open chapter, per se. General audiences can use, you can have your, like we are studying a model where different pricing will be available for different persona, right? So if you're a person and you are part of our audience, you're gonna pay a share that is, an access that is available and accessible, monetary accessible for a person, right? But if you are an organization, for instance, if you are a private company that works with, I don't know, let's say sanitation, and you need data regarding climate change, and you need structured data that can be tracked to the source of information, then you can pay a different fee. And of course, like I mentioned before, it's open source, so any news organization, we are actually looking for a first partner to implement their own Jor-MCP, because we want to collect the data from this journey, from this experience, and get back to the media ecosystem, to the community. Like I mentioned before, documentation, implementation guides will be all available. So we have a dedicated website. We have an open source release on GitHub. We have like a beta version where we documented the journey for our implementation. And we want to pilot, this is where we are now. We went to pilot implementation with partners, organizations. Of course, we don't have the team, the resources to do that with a lot of organizations. So we are looking for a few partners right now that could be, responsible for their own implementation, but we could offer support, technical support to that organization. And then what we would asking in return, politely, gently, would be, to give us feedback from the use, to give us data from the use, to share with us so we can, at the end of this journey, later this year, we can have a report to share with the ecosystem. Did anyone raise their hand or?
Yeah, myself, Thiago. Just to add here, one of the core goals of this partner pilot replication is actually generating our own replication playbook and documentation to allow any other organization to be easier to pick up this repository in GitHub and implement in their own organization. So that's one of our core goals. We will be supporting this replication, and we will be documenting and automating like configuration and installation as much as we can to give back to the journalism ecosystem this documentation and playbooks later.
Perfect. Thank you, Jonas. That was great. Yeah, like I mentioned before, Ambiental Media is a award-winning nonprofit newsroom. We have been working with technology and AI before, and we definitely see Jor-MCP as the result of a long journey from the past years, trying to understand the changes that journalism is going through. And we have this strong belief, this strong value to deal with this moment face on, try to understand how AI is shaping the next years of journalism, but also being part of the conversation that need to be dealt with in the level of infrastructure. We have to have less asymmetric conversations, and I think this is could be an important step. It depends a lot on how the ecosystem is going to react. We are going to share our emails with you later, Jonas, myself. We have the general webmail here. You can visit us. Please get in touch. Let us know how can we be of help. And I finished my presentation here. Like I said, this is just the start of a conversation. I'm going to show you very quickly, do a very brief presentation here of Jor-MCP. Right. So this is my code, as you can see. How are you going to? This is not open. Our Jor-MCP is not available to everyone, because if we made that open, it would result in a lot of cost for us, right? GCP costs, which wouldn't be, we couldn't deal with that right now. So when you are available, let's say we invite you to use Jor-MCP, or we have a business plan where people can pay for Jor-MCP. How would you install Jor-MCP in your AI, in your everyday use AI? You would go here to customize, then you would go to connectors, then you would go to add, browse connectors, and you would find Jor-MCP.
No, it's a custom connector.
Yeah, I know. I know mine is already here, but I'm just showing people, right? So here you can see. So now I'm going to use it. Let me give Claude a hands up. So I want you to use Jor-MCP, and I want to use Jor-MCP. I have a question regarding Ambiental Media's content. Well, it answered in Portuguese, but I'm looking for data regarding hydrological stress in the Brazilian savanna called Cerrado. Let's see what it's going to bring us. Here in Portuguese, it said, I'm ready. I'm with Jor-MCP loaded. What's your question regarding Ambiental's content? That's what it said here. Now it's saying, I think it's going to answer in English at some point. But now it's saying there are several stories related to the topic. The more direct one regarding hydrological stress is the Urucuia aquifer. Let me search data, more specific data, and pull the content.
Yeah, and also if you notice the little icon that is calling the Jor-MCP tool, so this is the Ambiental Media logo. So it shows that it's calling the tool to get the information to interact with the infrastructure.
Did anyone raise their hand? Oh, well, I don't know why it's replying in Portuguese. It should reply in English. I can ask Claude to reply in English, maybe. Can you give me the same reply in English?
And Lima has her hand raised.
Right. So yeah, just a moment. I'm sorry about that, but here you can see. So the answer is in English with the data and the sources here. So I could, go on and ask more questions because Ambiental definitely has more source of information regarding this topic. But I'm going to finish here and give you the room. We also want to hear Jonas about the technical aspects of the development. But before I give you the word, Jonas, let me see who. Oh, okay, Lema, please go ahead. You are muted.
I just wanted to know, what would the answer look like if you had just used Claude without Jor-MCP?
It wouldn't give you any attribution. It wouldn't give you a link. Mm-hmm. And the possibility of the AI making a mistake would be bigger, And this is just a preview, there are other things that you can do, like Reuters just launched its own MCP server with a very interesting business plan. So we are just starting to explore. So you have attribution, you have precision, you have clarity regarding the source of information, you have, more accurate data, and you have control. You could have control over, of course, you have control over who is accessing, who is using, because you are going to have to offer that to people, right? It's not open. So like I mentioned before, I don't know if that was clear. It's not like you can already go to GPT and install Jor-MCP from Ambiental Media. You cannot do that right now. You would have a permission from us in order to do that. So we have metadata. That's what I'm trying to say, which is a lot right now, right? Regarding the use of AI in journalism. Thank you for your question. So Jonas, go ahead. Thank you very much for your patience, everyone. It's hard to talk in English about technology, but.
And also, I guess it's interesting, still on Lema question, this is a real-time connection to Ambiental Media's data and publishing and etc. So if you only ask the AI, the model itself, it would return any answer based in the model knowledge, the previous knowledge acquired by the model. And this can be useful, but this can be we can have hallucinations and we can have outdated information. So MCP servers give access to real-time data. At the same time, AI models right now, most of the agents can also try to do web scraping. So that's something that happens today. The AI agents are able to do the web scraping. And at the same time, we are having a lot of conversations in the ecosystem in general about websites preventing themselves to be scraped by AI and scraped by media because of that lack of authorization to be used, this data for commercial use later. So with that, the next steps for this conversation, we can understand that a lot of news organizations will not choose to be scraped and will leave those robots blocking of web scraping. And then the MCP servers offers the official way for the agents to connect to a journalism organization or any site that wants to share this data with the control of this data. So this is an important matter to have in mind too. I don't know if I was too technical. Please ask questions.
Yeah, in a way.
This is fine.
One more question. So is the idea that you then collaborate with other news organizations and then they'll pull in their data?
Yes, that can be possible, like Jor-MCP be a platform for other organizations also serve their data through Jor-MCP right now from Ambiental. That could be a commercial product, etc. That's what we are exploring right now. But right now, what a news organization already can do is reaching us to have our support to install their own Jor-MCP for their organization and serve their own data through their own Jor-MCP for free. Like this is what we are delivering for the ecosystem for free, this tool. We are not supporting a platform right now because supporting a platform, we will pay for networking costs and reliability, and that would cost a lot for us at this moment. And we will be opening a platform once we have a business model that can allow Ambiental Media to have incomes and pay these bills of having a system available for the whole world.
Yeah, I could, maybe I can try and help. I think Jonas gave an amazing answer, but maybe I can just add a little bit. I would say that, you probably have had the experience before of, using GPT or Claude or Gemini, and you could see that maybe the answer wasn't completely accurate. And that, in part, is because of the the updated aspect that Jonas mentioned, but also there is the cleaning aspect. So a general AI without using an MCP server, you have to interpret a lot of data that is not the journalistic content, the information that you need, like menus, advertising, visual structure. As when you use MCP server, it receives structured data because you are telling where to look for the data in a structure, AI language per se. Jonas can correct me if I say something conceptually wrong here, right?
This is fine, and this is very important because this process of web scraping that I told, like, it's the AI reaching the website. But as you see, as you know, like, the website is not the text, the content. It has a lot of code, and once a tool does web scraping, it pulls a lot of code, and then it has to parse all this code and make sense what is the content and what is code. So there are a lot of data coming through. There are a lot of processing this data, and this can lead to mistakes and also leads to a lot of processing. So this is not sustainable at all. To this type of web scraping process is not the best way, and that's why the MCP protocol was created at first by Anthropic, to make a way to AI to connect to other parts and have structure and clean answer with only what's matter. So not wasting resources on stuff and avoiding mistakes that comes together with this resource. I'm seeing a lot of answers in the questions in the chat. Maybe it's better we go to these questions, right?
Yeah, I was about to tell you that we have a question from Angie. Eleanor asked about the security of the data privacy concerns.
Yes.
If you want to.
Okay, let me go to this one first. So what we are proposing here with Jor-MCP, Jor-MCP is serving the same public data that is available at Ambiental Media websites. So we are serving through a different way. So this is already public data. So that's not like something we have in concern right now, but at the same time, the same tool, the Jor-MCP, can be used to serve like data that is not, that could be a business model too. You can pick up like the Jor-MCP, install for your organization and say, okay, I have this data that I don't publish because I want to sell this data. And I will sell plans for organizations to reach this data. That could be done with Jor-MCP right now as is.
Thank you.
And also,
Angie, to summarize or clarify why exactly you decided to work on this specific project. I think that also in terms of identifying this name and then focusing these resources, I think that.
Yeah, I will tell the trigger for this, and then Thiago can tell a little bit more. So I come from the IT field, and I have my another job. Like Ambiental is a partner that I collaborate with, but I have my main job where is this this is in IT field, IT company. And since 2024, I've seen a lot of MCP. Like when this MCP conversation came to the table in 2024, I saw that this would be something very important to take a look, to have in mind. And the way that I like to to do a parallel is like we had like the web, we had the dot-com bubble a long time ago, that people didn't have like companies didn't have their website, and they only had I don't know, listings on telephone number and telephone lists and etc. And suddenly every company wanted to be in the internet because they knew that people would look for them in the internet. So that's something we are seeing with AI right now. Like AI is just another way to consume data. So we are using right now to go to our websites through the browser and reach the website and read data. But you may find yourself maybe, instead of Googling for something, asking to AI to find some site or whatever and get the information. So maybe that's something you're already doing right now. So in the end, you are trying to read the data from the site, but you are questioning you are going through the AI platform instead of going through the web browser. So that's a movement we are seeing. And I was seeing a lot of developer tools going to having the MCP servers. And then I brought that to Thiago, saying, we need to take a look on that, how that could be useful to journalism. And then Thiago can take it from here.
Thank you very much for the questions. They are all very important and right on the spot questions, I think, deeply connected to what we are discussing. So why working on why creating an MCP server for journalism? Well, AI is already reading journalism, right? So I don't think the security risk is increased by an MCP server. You have different challenges, right? Once you created an MCP server, you have challenges to deal with, but the access is already there, right? So the idea behind this project was to have a conversation. The first thing that I mentioned actually was to enable journalists to have a conversation in the infrastructure level. I think the trade-off here has to be very clear. So AI is has used journalism a lot for the training of their models, right? And for the media ecosystem, for small organizations, this is an important conversation, and this is an opportunity. I think Jor-MCP is a great opportunity, because if you are a big media company, you can have a discussion with AI company, right? You can sit on the table, you can go to the court, and you can discuss it. Whatever is coming out of that discussion, that conversation between New York Times and OpenAI, or Folha de São Paulo and OpenAI, or Anthropic, whatever is coming out of the conversation or of the court debate, the court decisions, we don't know. They could be beneficial for journalism in the long run. They could be terrible, because if you have an agreement that resolves your problem in the short term, if you are a big media company and you have your problem solved for the short term, you can have consequences that are terrible for the media ecosystem in the long run, right? Because we are the ones who produce the knowledge, the verifiable information, reliable information that now AI is presenting in different formats. Now AI is, journalism tried so hard to adapt to social media, only then to release control more and more. So the conversation needs to be on the infrastructure level, I think. Of course, I think it's a good thing that New York Times took it to the courts. I think that they are the ones that should have done that. But as small organizations, that's not something we could do, right? We cannot address this topic in that level. And of course, you don't solve an infrastructural problem with only one path, with only one way. So like I said before, reporters need to continue to investigate on the controversial aspects of AI companies. what they are doing right, what they're doing wrong, what governments are doing. We have tons of problems to deal with: the climate aspect, the hydrological aspect, the regulation aspect. So we have a lot of work to do. But we also have to have conversations on different levels if we want to, build a path for the future of journalism, for the present and the future of journalism. I'm not sure if I answered all the questions, but I hope that's useful. I think Jonas addressed a lot of the questions here. If you feel like your question wasn't answered, please let me know. Let us know.
I guess it's worth to mention that, like, you picked up this MCP thing that I brought and translated on how that could help journalism ecosystem at all. Like, you was able to understand the pains that journalism ecosystem had and how we could use this tool in to do some steps moving forward on some issues that was happening.
Thank you, Tiago and Jonas. There's a question, Hani. This is a solution that bets on a future where every reader that wants real-time accurate reports and news will install multiple MCP servers from multiple newsrooms on their preferred LLM, and just explain specifically how that would work.
Right. So I don't know how you see it, Jonas, but personally, I thank you, Hania, for your question. I don't think that we are betting on a future like where every reader wants real time. I don't think that's necessarily what we are betting on. I think that's one of the possibilities. But I think, like I said before, the way we see Jor-MCP, this is a collective effort that is being built. So we don't have all the answers regarding the use of Jor-MCP, regarding the commercial possibilities. Now that's the next stage of the project, where we are, doing some market research and try to understand, like, what is Reuters doing, what other media publishers are doing with their own MCP servers. What can a small organization do? What are the possibilities? We have data. We have verifiable, reliable data, climate data, that is very important. So who is willing to pay for, in which conditions, for instance? That's a valid question. So we are running that investigation. We are starting that investigation now, actually, and we hope to have more answers in the short term. But I think it's worth, taking a look at what other people are doing. So Reuters, for instance, let me share the link with you, has a different approach. Of course, they are a much bigger organization, but that's a very interesting approach to take a look at. So basically, what I understand from what they are doing is to integrate content for the users, right? So they have been integrating content historically in different terms, in different formats, right? We, the ones who are journalists for the long run now know, I mean, we have been accessing Reuters data and information and stories in different formats, in different points of interest, right? So from API, now we are reaching the MCP server era, right? Does that make sense, Jonas?
Yes, and also technically speaking, the scenario that was described is already possible right now with Jor-MCP. You can connect from your preferred LLM, and if we have multiple implementations of Jor-MCP, you have multiple MCPs for journalism organizations to connect to. And we understand that, for example, a journalist that are used to ChatGPT right now and pays for ChatGPT, for example, because they want to do their work in ChatGPT, and these journalists already do a lot of their researches based on Ambiental Media and based on routers. We understand that the journalists could, of course, connect to both MCP servers and get their work done faster and with less hallucination. And that's a scenario that could happen right now, for example.
Lema has a very interesting question here. How beneficial is an MCP server for a news organization that is general rather than a specialist and may not have large amounts of specialized data? I think it's more challenging, but it's possible to be. Thank you, Hani. I hope we have answered your question, but let us know if you need a follow-up question. Lema, I think it's possible, but it could be more challenging. I admit that I haven't give a lot of thinking to that, but we can, I mean, if you are a specialist newsroom, you have a clear advantage, right? You have data that is important. You have archive that is deep. So you can offer that, there is intrinsic value on that. But if you're not a specialized newsroom, maybe you have other assets, right? Maybe you have, let's say, you cover, you have hyperlocal coverage. You have, I don't know, breaking news. If you exist for a while, you have historical archives that could be important. You have to think, let's say if you cover gender, of course, there are people covering gender that have, well, a lot of deepness in that coverage as well. So maybe that's not a good example. But I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. But I think Jonas could address something else that maybe I don't have a clear vision on this, but maybe MCP server, something that we are beginning to discuss here, could be very helpful, Emma, for internal workflows as well. Let's say, for instance, we at Ambiental Media, we try to apply for a journalism grant. And that relies a lot on the content that we created before, or the proposals that we have created before. So you build from your own data, your own richness. And you could use, right, Jonas, an MCP server for that, to access your own data or internal workflows in a more structured way and save you time, for instance. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, makes sense. And also, let's not forget that the MCP server right now is just another vehicle to reach your content. So if your content is useful to someone, being like general content or specialized content, but you may have an audience, and this audience needs to reach your content via web or via whatever, via Instagram, and MCP is another way to reach this content. And you may have like just a user that just want to read your content, and maybe they will ask to AI, what is the news from your website that came from yesterday to today, and the AI will give this short list. Or you may have like users that may do professional use. They just reach your website to generate Instagram posts for their stuff, and they can go, will be using AI to fetch content and etc. So if you have audience, it's just another way to serve your content,
That's a great segue, actually, because that's what Reuters did, right? They actually are offering to the people who are their audience already, people who pay already are paying fees to access Reuters content, they are now offering another doorway, which is MCP, for the people who are already their clients. So
Yeah,
I think
and
that's
like we have been talking about this next step of Jor-MCP, that is exploring commercial ways for that. And those commercial ways, I agree that we will explore biased in ambiental use case, that is specialized content. So maybe we'll be exploring ideas to solve a specialized niche, but that doesn't prevent anyone to start to keep like moving forward and exploring other ways to create uh, commercial ways, commercial use of Jor-MCP, because it's just a tool, it's there, you know.
I think we are running towards the end, right, Anna?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that first of all, I really want to thank your generosity and this openness about how you thought about the developing this solution, investing these resources. Small newsrooms also need to identify very clearly what kind of challenges they want to tackle when investing all these resources in AI development. And also, of course, you can reach out to Tiago. He shared his email in the chat. If you have any other questions or anything, I think that in like something that I really want to mention is that if you go right now, talking about the innovation challenge, the JournalismAI Innovation Challenge, right now we are publishing this series of articles in our blog, in which not only the different grantees are sharing how their paths around like building these tools, these different initiatives. Right now we're working with 12 organizations around the world, but so that they are building their solutions around using AI to improve their business models and to think about revenue generation. But also last year, in the previous cohort of the JournalismAI Innovation Challenge, we worked with 35 news organizations. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this program has a very strong intention to share and to distribute this knowledge. So also you can refer to our previous report on these on the different case studies from these past 35 news organizations. And just follow this because these organizations are still working on these projects. We will learn more about them and until October that this program runs through. And also, of course, in our festival in November, that we are going to learn more about the final stages of these projects. So again, thank you, Jonas. Thank you, Thiago. Muito obrigada. And that's thank you very much in Portuguese. So again, if anyone also, JournalismAI Connect intends to be a place for community building and collaborative work. So if you really want to share anything, you just reach out to me and we will work on it. Thank you again, and see you soon in the next session.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, Anna.
Yeah, thank you, Anna, and thanks everyone for coming here, listening to us, making questions. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.